What's up guys, and welcome back for another top 5 list from the city of Moscow this time. Hopefully you watched our video on the top 5 in St. Petersburg. Now we are going to do our top 5 favorite sites in the city of Moscow. The city of Moscow has a lot of things to see. You could do the bunker tours, you could do the different cathedrals, of course you have the Kremlin, you've got museums, you've got all sorts of things you can do in Moscow. These are our favorite 5 things that we did in the city. Number 5 is a Moscow food tour. Now we went with Moscow with locals and did a food tour of the city, and basically it was not a Russian food tour, but a city of Moscow food tour. So we learned a little bit about the history of Moscow. We learned about some of the dishes that became famous or that they ate a lot of in Moscow, and we tried lots of sort of local delicacies that were a mix of Russian and also from specifically the city of Moscow. Any sort of tour will do, but a city food tour is one of our favorite ways to visit a city, just because you get so much of the culture with that food. And we learned a lot about the different other countries that are all part of, that have influenced the country of Russia. So like Georgian food, things from Uzbekistan, Uzbek food, all these different countries that have brought their cuisines into the country of Russia, and influenced the culinary delights, and it just amazing food. So incredible. So a food tour is definitely a highlight you must do. The food was all really good local, different types of foods from like Eastern Russia, Western Russia, Northern Russia, Southern Russia, and like in Azerbaijan, and all sorts of areas like that, and the Georgian food, like just amazing things, really good variety. You're not eating like borscht and stroganoff and stuff, so you can try that on your own.
Yeah, he said it wasn't Russian food, it was Moscow food, things that are kind of special.
Things of like his childhood and stuff too.
That say something about the country. I think that was really cool. That it was like things that tell a story.
Number 4, a museum. There are countless museums in Moscow. We are not going to list every single one or pick one of them because it really depends on what you want to see. A few options you have. One would be the State Historical Museum, which is the big, really cool red building that you see right on the edge of Red Square. You can't miss it. That is a museum you can go into. Another would be the Tretyakov Museum. I might be mispronouncing that. I apologize if I am. That is what we visited. So we have a video here that you can see some of the sites there. Which they have the Holy Trinity icon there, which is Andrei Rublev's painting, and it's absolutely beautiful. And then you have the Pushkin State Museum of Fine Arts, which is another incredible museum. That one, actually all of them, can line up like crazy. So either book your tickets in advance. If you want to do a tour, you can book a tour, or make sure that you allot for the time that there may be lines at each of these. But make sure you pick at least one museum, even if you're not a museum goer. We're not really museum goers. I'm not a massive art fan, but the art is incredible. Number 3, a metro tour. A visit to Moscow, and Russia in general, but Moscow in particular, is not complete without going into their metro system. The metro stations at different areas in the city are built basically like palaces built for the people. So back historically, we'll get more information in our video that's all about Moscow Metro, but historically these were built for the people, and they're these magnificent architecture pieces that are located underground at each of the metro stations. There are some that are new and modern, there are some that are very old and historical. Make sure you take a look at our video if you want to learn a little bit more about it, but go and see at least a few of these stations because they are amazing. Some of the stations were actually used as shelters during war times because they're so deep. They have some crazy deep stations. It takes several escalators, long escalators, to get all the way down there. So changing lines isn't always easy because it might take you 15 minutes just to get to the other line because you're going up and down all these crazy escalators. Number 2, the iconic image of Russia, at least for us and for all of our family members, St. Basil's Cathedral. This is the picture of Russia for the most part for us. It's unbelievable. It's like going to see the Church of Unspilled Blood in St. Petersburg, which is similar style. That sort of onion dome with all the funky colors and whatnot, just absolutely beautiful. So one of our favorite sites in all of Russia, just because of how magnificent it is, We took so many pictures. You have no idea how many pictures we have of that place. But a really, very cool cathedral. So the cathedral is now a museum, and it was actually once 8 churches surrounding another central church, so 9 churches, once known as the Holy Trinity or Trinity Cathedral. Sorry, Trinity Church or Trinity Cathedral. One of the most iconic landmarks in Moscow and even Russia. It's right on Red Square with Lenin's mausoleum. So while you're doing St. Basil's, we're also going to include Red Square and Lenin's mausoleum because that's right in the exact same area. It's all touching one another. So you can walk through Red Square, see St. Basil's, you could go into Lenin's mausoleum, which lines up, so make sure you're ready for a wait if you wanted to visit. But Red Square is free to walk through. And then you can see St. Basil's Cathedral. If you want to go inside, the inside is a little underwhelming compared to some of the other cathedrals you might see. It's very cool and very unique because it's all these different little cathedrals located around the center one, but it's not like you walk into this magnificent looking interior. So if you're looking for one of those like aha moment interiors, one of the other cathedrals will probably offer that, but you can still visit inside because it's very interesting, and the exterior is absolutely amazing. Number 1, what you probably expected, the Kremlin. So that would be the Armory, that would be the Cathedral Square, and then also the Diamond Fund where you can go see all of the, basically like the crown jewels of Russia. The Kremlin includes 5 palaces and 4 cathedrals, and then the walls and all the towers. And they've got like the bells and the cannon in there that you can see as well. The complex is now actually the official residence of the president, and it's a museum with millions of visitors every year. The Kremlin is pretty much the must-see in the city. The Armory is really cool. You can't film inside there, but we do have a video that's all about the best way to see the Kremlin, and that includes visiting the Armory and Cathedral Square. Do make sure you check out that video because we show you one of the best ways to visit so you can avoid all the lines, because sometimes in the morning it lines up like crazy trying to get into Cathedral Square. But we sort of snuck through going into the Armory first, which was not a long line because you have a timed visit, and then you can go through the Diamond Fund and straight into Cathedral Square without lining up at all. So you skip basically all the queues and then walk right in. But you have to visit here because the cathedrals are all amazing, the interiors are all beautiful, the Armory has some incredible stuff in it, and then obviously the Diamond Fund and the crown jewels inside are absolutely stunning as well. And once you visit there, you can walk right out, right onto the Red Square basically, and see St. Basil's Cathedral, and you're in a little protected area where they kind of block off for people that are leaving from the Kremlin. And you can snap amazing pictures of the cathedral there because there's very few people that are waiting in there because you can't get in from the other side. So you can take some really nice pictures before you actually exit and get into the masses of people that are already trying to take pictures. So make sure you watch our video. We show you some really cool tips about how to visit and learn a little bit about the history of the country and obviously of the city. That wraps up our top 5 things to do in Moscow. One other thing though we wanted to give an honorable mention to is the Bolshoi Theater. Bolshoi Theater, you've probably heard of the Bolshoi Ballet or the Bolshoi Opera. There's the new Bolshoi and the old Bolshoi. Both are absolutely beautiful. Obviously a little bit different sort of architecture, one being newer, one being older. But you can visit there and you can see either an opera performance or a ballet performance. And I think that if your time in the city, you should for sure try and visit one of those one night because it's just something so iconic to the country that it'd be very nice to have seen that and seen part of the history of something that's so famous and so highly regarded in the world, something like the Bolshoi Ballet. And then while you're walking back to your hotel afterwards, you can walk by all the magnificent streets that have the little light bulbs hanging off them, and it's like Instagram photo heaven. Again, Katie wanted to take tons of pictures there, and I think our thumbnail actually for the food tour is from one of those streets, so make sure you check that out. Anyhow, that wraps up our top 5. Let us know if you have any other suggestions of things that you think that we should see next time we visit, or things that should be on this list, because there's a lot of different things to see in the city, and I'm sure some people are going to think there's other things that should be on this list. But these were our favorite 5. Hope you guys enjoyed them. Make sure you see them, and we'll see you in the next one when we go into a little bit of a top 5 list of cities to see in the Golden Ring. So we'll see you guys in the next one.